Hello and welcome to another edition of The Stew with JT Brew. I'm your host, Justin Taylor. Tonight we have Week 4 NFL bets. Stick with me. I'm going to tell you my favorite bets of the week, games I like, games I'm staying away from, and I'll give you my JT Parlay play of the day. Stick with us. You're in The Stew.
You up on trades and wire moves, you ain't designed to lose. Find you jumping over seemingly nothing, racking up points, makes the game a little more fun to watch. Can drop release, we started with the mock draft and now we making a mockery of the leaderboard. Quite obviously not a scrub, so start an institute, make evaluations like a commissioner do. It's to the point your wife make you watch in a different room. Update your roster and pick and choose when you get some news. Not much that we enjoy more than sifting through through statistics to make it to our end zones through different routes. Universities, institutes, down to homies who click in groups. I introduce you to the Stew with JT Brew.
Thank you for joining me here on a Friday night NFL betting show, Week 4 in action. It's been a crazy start to the NFL season for those bettors out there. We've had quite a few upsets. Things have gotten a little wild here as we have got going throughout the season. We're going to talk about a few of the games this week, what we like, what we don't like, and then I'm going to give you some of my favorite parlays because I love parlays. That's who I am. JT Parlay play of the day coming up here at the end of the show. So let's jump right into it. We got the Bears -3 at home against the Rams +3. All kinds of injuries for the Rams right now. This is a game, the Bears finally stepped it up, played a little bit better, but still lost last week to the Colts. The Rams with the huge comeback and upset of the Niners at home. This is a game where at the +3 for the Rams right now, I'm liking this. I'm liking the +3 for the Rams. I think this is a game that they can cover. I think this game is close. I think this line is right on at 3, but I trust the +3 for the Rams more than I do the -3 for the Bears, and that I think the Rams could win this game outright. So for me, if I'm jumping in on this one, I'm taking the points with the Rams at the Bears. I need to see a little more from the Bears, even though Caleb Williams finally threw a touchdown pass last week, got 2, threw over 300 yards. Roma Dunze was his favorite target, 6 catches, over 100 yards for him in a touchdown. I think the Rams, even though they're shorthanded, I think they figure out a way to stay in this game and keep this one close. If you don't trust either of these teams, the over-under is pretty low at 40.5, but I do like the defenses. The Bears defense has been really, really tough all year, and the Rams actually, surprisingly, they don't have a lot of big names on this defense, but the team has been playing well. I could definitely see this game going under. So if you want to lean on the under, that is one I would also take a look at. Next game up is the Packers-Vikings. Obviously, the big one in this one is Malik Willis going to be the man at QB, or is Jordan Love come back? He's been practicing this week. There's been no word on whether Love or Willis is going to be the starter. Question marks there. The Vikings defense has been phenomenal, though. This one's a tough one to say. The Packers have kind of owned the Vikings at home. So this one is a tough one if you're going to want to get on this and bet. The Vikings have looked so good this season so far. For me, I'm probably avoiding this game, but if I do get in on this game, I would lean the Vikings at the +3. I just think that they can stay in this game. Obviously, the Sam Darnold injury has me a little worried. So far right now, it's seeming like it's just a bruise. He's going to play. So for me, in that case, I like where the Vikings have been. I like what they're doing, and I like the defense. This feels like a really close divisional game. The over-under 44. Both these teams have been playing very well. I do like the defenses. I don't feel great about that over-under. I'd want to see it lower and take the over, or a little higher and take the under. So if anything for me in this one, I'm probably taking the Vikings +3. If Jordan Love ends up being named the starter, I could see the money going in big time on the Packers in this one and getting it higher. So if you already think you're going to take the Vikings, it might be worth waiting around just a minute and see if the line goes more towards the Packers. If they do say Love is going to start, might be worth waiting around. Usually I like to get those bets in earlier if I can, but this might be a situation where you might want to wait on that one. Next one, my two teams, my team I love growing up, the Steelers going against my adopted team, the Colts, as I've been a season ticket holder now for 15 plus years for the Colts. This one's tough. The Colts look better. Finally got their first win of the year last week at home against the Bears. Great atmosphere there in Indy. Loud crowd. There was a ton of Bears fans there. The same is going to be for this week. There's going to be a lot of Steelers fans. After not playing each other in Indy for quite a few years, this is year 3 in a row that the Steelers and the Colts have played against each other in Indy. Just kind of a scheduling quirk. This one, the Steelers defense has been phenomenal. I love what their defense is doing. They've been super healthy. Alex Highsmith's going to miss this game with a growing injury. But hey, my guy, Nick Herbig, is taking his place. He is an absolute beast. This guy was all over the Chargers last week. 2 sacks and a forced fumble in the second half. Played 100% of snaps in the second half. To me, he's a baby TJ Watt. He is learning, getting better every day. I know the Colts don't throw the ball a ton. They try not to, as they try to keep the ball on the ground and just go with the long ball when they can. I think the Steelers defense absolutely shuts down the Colts. I'm very nervous about all my Colts players. I've got a lot of them in fantasy. I'm nervous about them this week, as I think this Steelers group really puts it together. I like the Steelers -2. I'm all over there. This over-under at 40 points. If I was going to jump that route, I would take the under. The Steelers have had issues getting the ball in the end zone, and the Colts haven't been great on offense. They've been super hit or miss, either a big play for a score or they've turned the ball over 3 and outs. This is an interesting one. The Steelers, one of the I think they're number 3 in the league in rushing plays per offensive possession. 57% of their offensive plays are rushes, where the Colts, until last week, where they had a decent game against the Bears, they went from dead last in the league in rushing yards to second to last in the league in rushing yards. Jalen Warren already out in this one for the Steelers, so it's going to be Najee Harris. The question with Najee Harris is, how healthy is he? He had a sling on this week. Coaching staff said, hey, he's going to be fine. He's going to play. Is that just coach speak? If the Steelers get to their 3rd running back, now I'm going to get nervous. I really like the Steelers passing game because of this reason. The Steelers-Colts game is going to be my JT parlay play of the day. I'll throw that one up here at the end of the show. I really like some player props in this one. I think there's some sneaky good value. So we'll come back on that one. But I'm loving the Steelers at -2 right now. I'm a little shocked that a 3-0 team that's been as dominant as they have on defense is only a -2 at the Colts, with the problems the Colts have had at offense and how turnover prone that Anthony Richardson has been so far this year. I don't love it for my Colts fantasy guys, but the Steelers, I think we're going to like some of the plays out of the Steelers this week. Next game up is the Broncos-Jets, -8 right now for the Jets, over under 39.5. Broncos injuries just all over the place. Defense is getting crushed. Barrington's out this week. They just said that Alex Singleton, who is one of the leading tacklers in the league, absolute IDP stud, played the whole last game with an ACL tear. He's out now for the season. Now the Broncos, who looked pretty good last week, a little surprising. Bo Nix, the rookie, looks solid, but now they play this absolutely tough Jets defense in New York. 8.5. I usually don't love giving up over a touchdown in the NFL, but this is one of those games I would do it. I think the Jets win this one. I think their defense is too tough. I think you're going to see some turnovers here. I like Breece Hall in this game. Garrett Wilson is the question mark. Do you like his player props or not, with Patrick Surtain covering him up? I don't love him. I love Breece Hall, though, and I love the Jets in this game. I think their defense absolutely shuts down the Broncos this week, so I'm on the Jets. The next one up, Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, going against his former team, the Bengals, absolutely tore it up. First quarterback in the NFL with 300 yards passing and multiple touchdowns this year. Last week, brought the Panthers back from the dead. Bryce Young got benched. Andy Dalton had a great game. Now the question is, can he do it against his former team? The Bengals have been really bad on defense. They just have not been able to stop anybody. This game, at 4.5 right now is scary to me. I don't trust the Bengals. to win a game on the road by that much. And even though Dalton had a resurgence last week, I'm just not sure it wasn't a one-off. I don't love the Panthers in this game. For me, I'm probably avoiding this one. I just don't feel confident either way, going -4.5 or +4.5. If you think it's a field goal game, I could see that and taking the Panthers +4.5 at home. Over under is 47. Both defenses have not been good, but I also don't trust these offenses a lot. Maybe we get ourselves a shootout. I could see that happening. But again, for me, to put my hard-earned dollars down, I just don't trust these teams enough. They've been too all over the place for me. I'm probably avoiding this game and not playing it. Next up, Houston Texans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Texans are -6.5 at home. Over-unders 45.5. I like the Texans in this one. The Jazz have looked awful. They've looked really bad. Now their number one defensive player is out in this game. Who's going to replace him? I'm a big Chad Muma fan, but does that mean he's going to get full-time play on defense? I don't know. Even if he does, this Jags defense has not been great. I think the Texans bounce back with a big one here at home after the kind of upset loss at Minnesota last week. I think they come back. I'm not worried about the 6.5. I think the Texans win this one by double digits. I think Stroud has a big game. I like Nico Collins in this one as well. I'm all over them in this one. I don't know what's going to take to get Trevor Lawrence right, but right now he doesn't have the answers, and he is absolutely murdering me in fantasy. I cannot take him anymore on any player props or anything else. He has just been terrible. The only player I like, if you're looking for any kind of player props, is Brian Thomas. I like Brian Thomas. The over long pass per game and over yards have been really nice numbers for him. So if you want to either take that straight up or put that in a parlay, I like what Brian Thomas has done. Everyone else I'm out on right now as far as the Jags are concerned. Next game up, we got the Arizona Cardinals versus the Washington Commanders. Commanders just an absolutely great game last week. Before I get into that, excuse me, I've got the Saints Falcons at the noon game. Let me do that one as we go down the list. I lost track of where I was at. Falcons -3 against the Saints +3. This is a big game in the NFC South. I'm taking the points with the Saints at +3 in this one. I think this game is going to be insanely close. This feels like a 3-point game all around. I'm going to take the Saints because I think the Saints could end up winning by 3. If the Falcons win by 3, I'll happily take my push. I'm jumping on the Saints in this one. I love what their defense has done so far. The offense has been, really, really good as far as being efficient. Over under, I'm nervous about in this one. Over under is 41. I'm probably avoiding that because this game, I could see the offenses doing just enough to get over that, but I definitely can see the defenses holding it down and this being like a 17-14 finale. So in a game this close, with two teams this close, I'm going to take the points. I'm taking Saints +3. Next game on the docket is the Buccaneers at home +1.5 right now. This line has kind of jumped up and down. It was at +1 for the Bucs. Then it went up to +2. Now down to 1.5. This one, this one, I think I'm gonna lean the Bucs. The Eagles are right now. It looks like AJ Brown's probably not going to play. They've already said Devontae Smith is out. This would be the perfect spot for a Paris Campbell breakout game. I've had Paris Campbell on my fantasy teams forever and ever and ever. And he has not come through for me. I could see him all of a sudden having a big game here. I will kind of look at his over under yards pre-game and see if that's something I want to maybe jump on if it's really low and see if he can get maybe one catch for 10 or 15 yards in this one. This one's a tough one, but I kind of like the Bucs in the points here at +1.5. This is probably a game for me that I would put in a teaser. I would tease the Bucs probably up to 7.5. I take that 6 points on the teaser, make it a touchdown dog at home. That would make me feel a whole lot more comfortable about this game. The Bucs looking great in week 1, not so good last week. We'll see if they can bounce that back here. The Eagles so far have been tough, but man, they're so banged up on offense. It's pretty much the Saquon Barkley show at this point. So Saquon Barkley player props, that I could do. So I'd be looking at that. Now let's head over quickly to the afternoon games here. So first one is Niners, Patriots. Niners, everyone knows they've been banged up. Blew that game last week. They looked like they had it against the Rams. Now they've got the Patriots at home here, minus 10.5. Man, that's a ton of points. A healthy Niners team, I don't think I hesitate to take the points here, but an unhealthy Niners team, way they've been playing, I don't know. Do I trust the Patriots in this one? I feel like the Niners defense is too good. I feel like they're going to shut the Pats down here. Can they get this one done? I almost feel like I'd rather take the under at 40.5 in this one. I think the Niners can play pretty well, but I could see this one, being fairly low scoring. The Niners put up some points, but the Pats not being able to move the ball. I would feel fairly comfortable about getting on the Niners in the under and the 10.5. Maybe you want to take a 2-pick parlay in this, move down the Niners a little bit, maybe get them at -8, and then take that over under and get it down to maybe like 38. Move that up to maybe 42, 43 and take the under. That might not be a bad little mix here. If I was going to do it, that's probably where I would lean. I'm probably throwing this Niners game in a parlay and moving that line slightly. Now, the Arizona Cardinals Washington Commanders game that I talked about previously. Commanders coming off that absolutely fantastic game. Jay Daniels, the rookie, lit it up. Absolutely phenomenal performance. If you're a Commanders fan, you are pumped right now. Hopefully he keeps it together and does what he's doing and continues to get better because he's looking like the real deal. Finally got my guy Terry McLaurin back in the mix. Absolutely finally got him with a deep touchdown. Hopefully that continues as I got him in all kinds of fantasy plays. And I also like to play him in these player props. 3.5 right now for the Cardinals. This one's hard for me. I was looking at this one. This one's tough. I really would like it under 3 if I was going to take the Cardinals. I feel like the Commanders could stay in this game. Cardinals have been tough at home, though. If you forced my hand, I'd probably take the Cardinals, even though it's at 3.5. I preferred under there, but this should be a great game. I would love to see this one of the highest over unders of the week at 49, as both people are expecting some offensive fireworks in this one. I could definitely see that. I can see a 28 24 game, something kind of in that range. That 49 scares me a little bit because you're just counting on these teams to do exactly what they've done, and they're going to have to do it all the time to get the over. This is probably an avoid game for me. For the most part, is I'm not 100% sure on that one. I just don't know. I don't feel great right now. Got a comment for my guy, SC Romero, the PPR show. McLaren over under 72.5 yards. Ooh, I like this one. This is a good push. I actually like the over yards. I think last week was just the beginning. I think Daniels finally got McLaren involved. I like it. I think he's going to stay involved. I hate to say I traded him away this week in one of my dynasty leagues, but I do think he goes over that yards. They finally broke that barrier. I appreciate the question there for my guy SC. If you don't follow him on Twitter, on the X, follow him at the PPR show. He's a great follow. Tons of college content, tons of NFL content. So make sure to follow and check him out. I appreciate that. But I'm going over on the McLaren yards. Next game we have up here, Chiefs Chargers, -7 right now on the Chiefs. Over under is 40. The Chargers, the question is Herbert going to play? He was banged up, started out great against the Steelers last week, led him to a touchdown drive early, and then the pressure started getting on him. He was unable to move in the pocket, re-hurt his ankle, and ended up going out in that game. I am not trusting it. I'm not trusting him. If you want the Chiefs, I think you need to get on this game now. As this gets closer to game time, I think this number is going to get up closer to 8.5 for the Chiefs. I think the money's going to come in huge on the Chiefs, especially as the week goes on. I know it's a division rivalry, but the Chiefs are missing Bosa on defense. Derwin James was suspended. He's obviously is going to fight that suspension here. I like the Chiefs, especially if I want to move the line in a parlay, get it down to 6. But I have no problem taking the 7. I think the Chiefs, even though they played a lot of close games this year, I just don't think the Chargers can get it done. A not healthy Herbert really makes me real nervous. And then the fact that even if he does play, the fact that he's not going to be able to move in the pocket a lot, I think this Chiefs team and Chris Jones up front can get after him. So I'm on the Chiefs on this one. The next afternoon game, Cleveland Browns -2.5 against the Raiders +2. Oh man, the over under this game is 36.5. This game is going to be about as ugly as it can get. Tons of injuries in this one for both these teams. The Browns missing a ton of guys on defense. Raiders, Devontae Adams is out. Max Crosby is out. Njoku's out for the Browns. This is a war of attrition in this game. This has just got ugly written all over it, as you can see by the over-under total of 36.5. If I'm taking anything in this game, I'm taking the under. I know 36.5 is low. I just don't understand how these teams score unless there's a bunch of turnovers that set these teams up in short range. I feel like this is a field goal fest. I can easily see this game being like 13-9, somewhere in that range, but I don't trust either one of these teams. It's crazy to think that you're not taking the Browns easily at -2 in this game, but I'm not. They've been all up and down. The Raiders have been up and down. It's just been ugly. The PR show SC back with an O. He's got Kelsey over under 60 yards. Seems like a cakewalk, but also a trap. I agree with you. It should be, but he has not played great this year. They've not hit him up a lot. He's been way under that number a couple times. I think he bounces back. I don't trust the linebackers right now. Are they going to put Derwin James on him the whole time? Are they going to put something else on him? Is it going to be a Henley when the linebackers lined up on Kelsey? I'm not sure, but I'm not sure. Whoever it is, I'm not sure they stick with him, and you just can't put James on him all game. So to me, I like the over in this one. It feels like we're ready for a Kelsey, big breakout game. We haven't seen one this year. It feels like it's about time. I like taking Kelsey in a touchdown in this game. I just tell it, say it's just a gut feeling. I think it happened. So I like that. I like that 60. The numbers come down a little bit just because he hasn't performed great so far. It's kind of been the Rashee Rice show, but I like the idea of Kelsey there. That's a good one. Thanks, SC, for that one. Now we're going to get into the Sunday night game. Bills Ravens. Here as we move along in the show. Probably the best matchup of the week. Ravens -2.5 against the Bills +2.5. Ravens haven't been playing great. I think the Bills have been playing better than people have expected. So this one I think is a fantastic matchup. 3-0 Bills against the 1-2 Ravens. Obviously not the start that people thought they would have out of the Ravens. This one's a toss-up for me as well. I might have to wait later in the week and see where this line moves before I get on this game. It seems like this is a Ravens bounce back where they take out the Bills at home, just because I feel like these teams meet in the playoffs. The Bills would be one of those looking for revenge and get that win. I just think the Ravens get this one. So if I'm leaning on this one, I'm taking the Ravens -2.5. I'm hoping they get the 3-point victory, but I have to tell you, I am not super confident in that one. It's going to be tough for me. I would probably want to move that line in like a same game parlay and see if I can get the Bills closer to 6 or a touchdown. Maybe move that over under down to around 40 and take the over. And then maybe pop in like a Derrick Henry or James Cook anytime touchdown to kind of get those odds up. That would make me feel a lot more comfortable than just taking one of these teams straight. It should be a Ravens game here. The Bills are down, due to have a down game, but you never know. Maybe they just keep it rolling. We're back to another double Monday night action with the Tennessee Titans at +1 over under 36.5 against the Dolphins. This game just reads shit show to me. I don't even know if I'm going to watch it. The Dolphins aren't sure who they're playing at quarterback. Is it Skylar Thompson? Is it going to be Snoop Huntley? The Titans, Will Levis. He's been good in spots, but he's turned over the ball in some really bad situations, which was kind of been my knock on him coming out of college, was that he was going to look good in spots. But man, he tends to turn the ball over when you least can afford to do it, and he's kind of been that this way. This is another one. 30-6.5 seems insanely low, but I don't trust either of these teams. I think the defenses are actually a little bit better, especially with the offense with no Tua in there. It's going to be hard to get Tyreek and Waddle involved. They scare me for fantasy plays and scare me for prop plays just because we don't know what they're going to do with the QB. If I had to get on this game, I'd take the under, but I'm probably avoiding it because it just seems like it's going to be ugly, ugly, ugly. Last game of the week here before I get into a few of my favorite player props and my JT Parlay play of the day is the Seahawks at the Lions. This one should be exciting. Right now, the Lions are -3.5 at home. Over under is 46. We could see some fireworks. Both these teams have really done well moving the football and scoring. I could see the Seahawks getting an upset here, but it feels like a Lions game. Do they cover the 3.5? That's what's got me worried. If this was 2.5, I'd be all over the Lions. I think they can win by a field goal. The 3.5, I could see getting caught by the hook there. I really could see this being a 3-point win and the hook gets you. I feel a little more comfortable with the over. I like the over in this one. I think this game feels like it's going to be in the 20s. It really does. I just can't see both these teams not scoring in the 20s. 24-20, maybe, but I think it gets over that. I think this game is we're looking more at a 31-28 type of game, maybe a 28-27 type of game. So I'm going to take the over in this one and hope for all the scoring, hope it all that good stuff hits and kind of leads us through. Jump back in here. Let me pull up now as we're coming to the end of the show here. If you got any more comments or questions or any plays you like, feel free to jump in and throw those into the show. I think SC for throwing a couple in there. We're going to throw in, before I get to my JT Parlay play of the day, I've got a touchdown, anytime touchdown bet that I kind of look through that I kind of like. I'm going to throw this one up for you. This is my JT Parlay anytime TD bet for this week. What I like right now is George Pickens, no touchdowns this year, but I think he gets it in the end zone against the Colts. I think the passing game gets going. I like Pickens. Breece Hall for the Jets. I think he gets in against the Broncos. The Broncos are banged up on defense. I think they lean towards him. I also like Nico Collins for the Texans. I think the Texans get back on track. I like Stroud. Nico's looked really good this year. I think he gets in the end zone. I'm adding Nico on there. James Conner has been really good, especially at home. I think he puts one in the end zone this week. And then Saquon Barkley. I mean, he has just been an absolute machine to start off this year. Love Saquon this week. I think he punches one in against the Bucks, even though I think the Bucks run defense is pretty good. I like what I've seen out of them. I think Barkley pops it in. Right now, that's plus 2,676, plus 2,776. Sorry, 2,676 on DraftKings right now. So if you like that anytime TD parlay, jump in on that one. And then we're going to get here to my JT parlay play of the day. This is my big one I really like. I said it earlier in the show, Steelers Colts game. I am loving some props in this one. You would think you would take all the Najee Harris rushing props with how bad the Colts have been against the run this year. I'm a little worried about Najee with the arm. They've got him in sling. I think he's going to have a good game. I'm nervous that maybe whatever is wrong with his shoulder, it pops up during the game and he ends up not finishing the game. So that's got me a little nervous. The Colts also really young cornerbacks just gave up over 300 yards passing to Caleb Williams last week. Roma Dunze, the rookie, looked really good. 6 catches for over 100 yards. I think Pickens matches that or does better. I'm all about it there. So here's my JT parlay play of the day for Sunday is the Steelers -2. I want a Pickens anytime TD. I want Pickens 100 plus receiving yards. I want Freiermuth plus 25 receiving yards. He's been all over that this year. Justin Fields 175 plus passing yards. And then I'm throwing a little IDP action to really crank it up. If you want to stay away from the IDP play, that's fine. Really great odds. Absolutely just jump in there. You're going to love those odds. But if you want to throw EJ Speed, who's been a tackling machine this year, in there at over 9.5 total tackles and assists, souls and assists, you can notch that sucker up to plus 4,600 on DK. That's plus 4,600, a $100 bet wins you $4,600. A $10 bet wins you $460. I'm absolutely loving that one for this week. So that is my JT parlay play of the day. Anyone who hasn't followed that before, that's my crazy bet. That's my throwing caution to the wind, trying to hit an absolute grand slam bet. If I'm going to play one, just if I'm taking the lines. So if you're looking at it, it's like, JT, give me a line bet. The ones I feel most confident about, I like the Steelers at -2. I think that is an absolute banger. I love the Jets. It's been bouncing between 7.5, 8. If you get it at 7, even if you have to buy the half a point or a point, I like the Jets at 7. I think they win by double digits, but if you want to make it close to the parlay, I think you could take that and kind of adjust the odds there. I love the Texans -6, so that's another one I'm on. I think the Texans absolutely roll in that one. And then my other one is the Chiefs. Chiefs -7. Again, if you want to buy a point and get all these down to 6 and then take the Steelers at -2, you're still going to get really great odds in there. So that's going to be my line parlay of the week. I'm taking Steelers -2. I'm taking the Jets. I'm probably buying a point or half a point. I'd like to get it down to at least a touchdown just to be just in case, just to be careful at -7. I'm taking the Texans at -6, -6.5, and then I'm taking the Chiefs at -7. So those are the ones I'm doing. I appreciate everybody for watching, joining the show tonight. If you have not, please get on Fantasy and Frames, like and subscribe, hit the notification button. We've got shows going all day, every day. We got our DK show for all you guys that love to get on DraftKings and FanDuel and play the daily fantasy props. Great show coming up here in about an hour on Fantasy and Frame. So make sure to jump back on and check that out either on the X, on YouTube. We'll always have these things in podcast form later on as well. Again, thank you for everyone for joining us. I appreciate it. You have been listening to The Stew with JT Brew. I'm JT. Check you next time.
You up on trades and why you move, you ain't designed to lose. Find you jumping over seemingly nothing, racking up points, makes the game a little more fun to watch. Can drop release, we started with the mock draft and now we making a mockery of the leaderboard. Quite obviously not a scrub, so started institute, make evaluations like a commissioner do. It's to the point your wife make you watch in a different room. Update your roster and pick and choose when you get some news. Not much that we enjoy more than sipping through sifting through new statistics to make it to our end zones through different routes. Universities, institutes, down to homies who click in groups. I introduce you to The Stew with JT.